right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the MDNGHT Collective. This is Eddie. Once again, if you've forgotten, and first off, I know it's been a minute since the last episode, but life has been lifing. You know how it goes: work, family, personal pressures, expectations. But I also know that when I sit down behind this microphone, it's definitely for a reason, and I'm not here to waste your time or mine. So we're here, and we're ready to go. And honestly, that's something that we need to be proud of more in this world, is just showing up, right? And we talked about that before, about showing up and being present. But here's something we haven't talked about yet: telling the truth. In today's world, that's hard to come by. And the world today want men to play roles, and one of those roles is never to tell the truth. But let's be clear about something. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to feed you the same motivational fluff that you're hearing online. I'm here to challenge you. I'm here to crack something open and to press into something uncomfortable, because that's where growth happens. And today, we're going to talk about something that's missing in a lot of men's lives, honestly. Something that rarely gets talked about unless it's already too late. And that's honesty. So let me ask you something. And I want you to really sit with this one. When was the last time you were brutally honest with yourself? Not just a quick, yeah, I could do better. I mean, the kind of honesty that kind of makes you flinch, that strips the ego away and sits heavy in your chest. When was the last time you called yourself out? Not beat yourself up, but to face yourself. Because here's what I have to say. A lot of men out there, we're in silent denial. We perform. We pretend. We downplay. We hide behind our humor, me included. We overwork to distract ourselves. We ghost people before they can even see our wounds. We lie, not because we're trying to hurt anyone, but because we're afraid. We're afraid of what happens when the mask comes off. Afraid of being vulnerable in a world that rewards emotional silence. Afraid of confronting the reality that something isn't right inside. And I've been there, and I know what it's like to lie just to keep the peace. To lie to protect your image. To lie because owning the truth would mean something has to change. And change is hard. Change is scary. But you know what's even scarier? Living your whole life pretending to be someone you're not. So, again, today we're going to flip that on its head. We're calling it out, because honesty isn't weakness. It's not soft. It's not weak. It's not too emotional. Honesty is a superpower. It's a weapon. It's a mirror. It's the muscle that keeps you aligned with your purpose when the world tries to pull you in 100 different directions. And if you've been hiding behind this mask that you created, if you've been keeping your truth quiet just to survive, you're not alone. I've done it too. But today, I'm asking you to come face to face with that, with your own reflection, unfiltered, because that's where the freedom really starts. That's where we start building a better man. That's where real strength is coming from. Now, the hardest person to be honest with is yourself. So we're going to start where the real battle lives, in your own head. Not on the timeline, not at your job, not in your relationship. This war is internal. And the truth, a lot of men, maybe even you, are out here lying to themselves. Not the big lies, not the obvious ones, not the quiet lies. The sneaky ones. The ones that sound like, I'm fine and I'm good. I've moved on. It's not that deep. That really didn't affect me. But if we stripped away the performance, the pride, the filters, if I put a mic inside your thoughts at 2 a.m., what would we really hear? Maybe we'd hear frustration that you keep pushing down. Disappointment you never admitted. Confusion you're too proud to ask for help with. Shame that creeps in when no one's around. Regret, guilt, loneliness, stuff deep layered and suppressed. And because you've carried it for so long, You've convinced yourself that this is normal. We normalize our pain just to survive. You've made numbness a routine. You've made silence a strategy. Survival has now become your identity. But I have to ask, is that really the goal? Or is surviving the best you can hope for? And I'll say this firsthand. When people ask me how I'm doing, it's just another day. Just getting by. Oh, it's so-and-so day. That's a survival instinct. That's me trying to get by. Trying to just get past that person onto the next. And if I can get every interaction with people to just make it to the next interaction, I never really interact. I just keep going and I keep moving, And is that the best that we can ask? I don't think so. Not for me and not for you. Not for any man trying to do better. We're not just trying to make it to the next interaction, to the next day, to the end of the work week. We're not here just to get by. We're here to heal, to grow, to evolve into something better. For ourselves, for our kids, for the people counting on us, and for the legacy that we want to leave behind. And none of that starts until you tell yourself the truth. Not the social media version, not the version your boys think is tough or manly, not the one you tell your girl because you're afraid of seeming weak, or you're afraid of how she's going to react or what she's going to do to you. I mean the real, uncomfortable, mirror-cracking truth. Because the thing is, you can't fix what you won't face. You can't face what you refuse to acknowledge. You want peace? You want clarity? You want to finally feel like you're moving forward? Start by being honest with the man staring back at you every morning. Because once you face that person, really face that person, you unlock everything else. And so we move on to the next part. Why do we lie? And what does it really cost us? Now we're going to be real about something right now. We lie, period. Men, women, children, we lie, right? And not always with words. Sometimes with silence, with smiles that don't match how we feel, with I'm fine when we're falling apart, with busy calendars that cover up an empty heart. But why do we do it? Because lying, even the smallest form of it, feels easier. It feels safer, cleaner, like a shortcut around the hard part of being seen. Because once the truth is out there and we don't control the reaction anymore, once we say how we're really feeling, we risk judgment, rejection, vulnerability. And for a lot of men, those stakes feel too high. They're overbearing. It's overwhelming to feel like telling the truth is going to make you a worse person, is going to give you a worse image. And those are things that, in some people's minds, are not anything that we want to compromise on. That's not something we want to give up. We have images. We have personas. We have egos. And when we lie, we're protecting those. We're protecting what we feel is our safe space, our safe places, what we feel makes us who we are. So we lie. So let's take this for instance. You're in a relationship and it feels distant. You feel misunderstood. You're not connecting with that person. But instead of saying any of that, you say, everything's good. I'm just tired. How about another one? You're overwhelmed. You're burnt out. Numb. But when your friend checks in, you slap on a smile and you say, I'm good. Just got a lot going on. It's all good. You know you've been coasting, playing small, wasting time, but you tell yourself, I'll log in soon. Just not today. Guilty. We haven't had an episode in a month. But here's the kicker. Every time you do that, every time you choose silence over honesty, you're not just lying to others. You're lying to yourself. And that lie, it costs you more than you think. The cost of lying isn't just broken trust. It's distance. It's disconnection. It's a slow death of the soul. You drift further and further away from who you really are. You lose the sound of your own voice. You become a version of yourself that's easier for others to accept, but harder for you to live with. You start to perform, even in private. You smile when no one's around. You keep the mask on, even in the mirror. And slowly, the real you, the honest you, gets buried. Until one day, you wake up and you don't even recognize the man in the mirror. You've become so good at pretending that even you've bought the performance. And maybe it's started small. One lie, one excuse, one avoided conversation. But lies grow roots. They entangle your relationships, your purpose, your peace. We lie because we're scared to be seen. But here's the truth. Only honesty can free you. Not half-truths, not hinting, not passive comments, hoping someone gets the message. Very guilty of that. Radical, uncomfortable, self-defining honesty. And I'll tell you, it's not easy. It's not always smooth. But it is liberating. Because once you've told the truth, really, really told the truth, you don't have to perform anymore. You can just be. And that is something that brings your life freedom. So the next piece is that honesty makes everything stronger. Your trust, your legacy, and your freedom. So here's the shift I really want you to sit down with. Being honest doesn't break things. It builds them. That's the lie that we've been sold. That telling the truth wrecks relationships. That it causes chaos. That it makes you weak. But truth is a builder. It builds depth. It builds trust. Not that fake, like surface level, we're cool kind of trust, but the unshakable kind. The kind of trust that can handle hard conversations. The kind that makes people feel safe. Even when life isn't. And more than anything, it builds the legacy that we all want. Because men who choose honesty, especially when it's inconvenient, become anchors. They create stability. They create safety. They become men who don't just talk about leadership, they embody it. And let's talk about that legacy for a second. Legacy isn't built in your highlight reel on Instagram. It's built in the moment that nobody sees. The uncomfortable conversations that you have behind closed doors. The times you say, I was wrong. The nights you choose presence over pride. The mornings that you choose to heal over hustle and grind. Your legacy is built through transparency. And when you're honest, you give other people permission to be honest too. Your kids learn it's okay to feel. Your partner learns it's okay to ask questions without fear. And your friends learn that they don't have to perform to earn respect. And you break cycles. Because make no mistake, hiding the truth doesn't protect people, it disconnects them. And the longer you pretend, the more they have to guess. And that guessing game, it causes distance, tension, confusion. But when you show up honestly, when you can sit here and say, I'm not okay right now, but I'm working on it. I don't have all the answers, but I'm open to them. I was wrong, and I own that. Emphasis on owning it. That is not weakness. That's power. That's leadership. That's real manhood. Not because you're perfect, but because you're imperfect, but you're present. Not because you know everything, but because you're willing to grow. Not because you never fall, but because when you do, you get back up with honesty. And you embody the person that you've become, that you're becoming. And becoming a new person, becoming the person that you want to be in your life, has a lot to do with reflection. Where do you think that person is hiding right now? Behind the lies, behind the things you've made up. So let's turn the mirror inward towards you now. I don't want you to just sit there and nod along to this episode. I want you to pause, reflect, engage. Because the only thing more dangerous than a lie is a lie that you've gotten used to. So here's what I want you to sit with right now. What are you hiding? Where are you hiding? Where in your life have you been avoiding the truth? Where have you been saying, it's fine, when it's really not? Where have you been telling yourself a story that's more about survival than your own personal growth? Is it in your relationship? Is it how you've been showing up as a father? Is it your addiction to your phone, work, distractions? Is it how you keep saying, I'll fix it later, I'll do that later, I'll have time, when later keeps turning into never? What's one area of your life, just one, where you know you've been lying? Call it out. Not to shame yourself, not to spiral, not to crash out, as the kids would say, but to break the pattern. Because once the truth is spoken, even whispered, to nobody, could be to yourself, could be in silence, it could be to your dog. I talk to my dog all the time. But once you put it out there into the world, it loses its grip on you. Who in your life deserves your honesty, even if it's uncomfortable? Think about that person. Maybe it's your partner who feels the distance but doesn't know why. Maybe it's your child who watches your every move more than your words. Maybe it's your friends who think you've got it all together but don't know how you're barely holding it in. Maybe it's just you, the hardest person to be honest with, the most important one to stop lying to. Now, I'm not just asking you to go scream your truth from a rooftop. That's crazy. But I am asking you to acknowledge it. Even if it's just in a notebook. Even if it's just in a voice note to yourself. Even if it's just sitting in your car after this episode ends, whispering it out loud. Say it, write it, admit it. Because you can't build a better life on top of a lie. You can't lead others when you haven't learned to lead yourself through your own truth. You can't create peace if your foundation is built on silence, denial, or avoidance. You've got to rip out the rot, clear the space, and get real with yourself. And then you rebuild. You clean that canvas and you start over with truth as your anchor. That's how you move forward. That's how you stop this cycle. That's how you become the man you actually want to be, not just the one that you've been pretending to be. So let me leave you with this. I know this is hard. I know this isn't the kind of conversation that we're all used to having. Not with our friends, not with our family, and definitely not with ourselves. This is work. It's not flashy. It's not trendy. It's not something you post with a motivational caption and a fire emoji. It's slow. It's quiet. It's personal. And I'm telling you, it's the most important work you will ever do. Because when you get honest, truly honest, you stop living a double life. You stop pretending. You stop shrinking. And for the first time, you start to feel free. Honesty is just a bridge between the man you are now and the man that you're becoming. And I don't care where you're starting from. You might be successful on paper, but feel lost inside. You might be the strong one for everyone else, but breaking down when no one's around. You might be showing up for work, for family, for friends, but not for yourself. It's time to show up for you. With truth, with clarity, with conviction. So don't run from this. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't wait for the perfect moment to get real. Walk into it. Even if your voice shakes, even if your heart races and it scares the hell out of you. Because on the other side of that truth is peace, power, and freedom. So, with that, thank you for joining me for this episode today. Seriously, if this episode made you pause and reflect or feel something good, that's the point. Growth isn't supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to be real. And if any of this hit home, if it felt like I was kind of talking to something you've been carrying, don't just brush it off. Sit with it. Do something about it. And if it makes sense, share it. Share it with somebody that you think might need to hear it too. A friend, a brother, whoever. Not in the, hey, you need help kind of way, but more in the, we're all figuring this out kind of way. I think you want to listen to this too. But before I go, just remember, you're not the only one going through it. You've never been alone in this. This episode, this podcast, is always here to reinforce everything that we've been talking about and then some. But next episode, we're talking about something I think a lot of us are also dealing with, choosing discipline over distraction. Because honestly, it's way too easy to get pulled off course. But if you want real change, you got to focus. You have to decide that your goals and your growth is above everything else. So until then, take care of yourself, stay solid, and remember, you're not alone. Thanks.